yes, I copy. I'm detached. I don't know. I'm spinning. I can't.
Report your position.
GPS is down. I can't. It's down. I can't.
Give me a visual.
I told you nothing. I see nothing.
You have a visual of Explorer.
No.
You have a visual of ISS.
No.
You need to focus. Anything. The sun and the Earth. Give me coordinates.
I can't breathe.
Give me
I can't breathe.
coordinates. You're burning oxygen. You have to sip, not gulp.
Hey everybody, it's B007 back again for another 10-minute spoiler-free movie review, and today I'm talking about Gravity, the stunning new space thriller starring Sandra Bullock. And all I can say, having seen this movie, is just wow. This is what cinema should be about. It should be about something breathtaking that takes you to a world far beyond your everyday and just stuns you with the landscape. But at the same time, as I marvel at just the technical, logistical mastery of getting these spacescapes on screen, I'm also deeply impressed by the director, Alfonso Cuarón, because the technical achievement of this film is never allowed to trump the completely pure emotion at the movie's heart, and the fact that ultimately this is a movie about willing someone to survive and investing in them completely emotionally, to the point where at one very pivotal, very quiet, profound scene in this movie, I was almost in tears. So as the movie opens, we meet Sandra Bullock, who plays an astronaut called Ryan Stone, and she's really a scientific specialist. She's not a professional astronaut, and she's on her rookie space mission, in sharp contrast to the veteran who's in charge of the mission, played by George Clooney. And it's classic George Clooney, very charming, very suave, cracking jokes, and he's called Mike Kowalski. And we get about 10 minutes of, really funny, calm, relaxed banter between these two, and indeed their third astronaut, that I didn't realise at the time was played by the chap who plays Ronnie in British soap opera EastEnders, so completely out of the blue, because in this movie the poor chap sounds like Apu from The Simpsons. Anyway, so in standard form you get 10 minutes to establish their characters, that she's quite nervous and just needs to get the job done. He's totally at home in space, totally in control. And then really all hell breaks loose. Apparently there's a missile strike on a Russian satellite, and it just sets off this chain reaction of debris shooting through the air, damaging satellites, knocking them out of the skies, knocking out their communication with Houston. And basically you've got these three guys stranded in space, Sandra Bullock on ever-depleting oxygen. And it becomes, the movie, a series of races against time to get her back to the ship so she can get more oxygen, to then get from that ship into one of the space stations that might have an escape pod, one that can make it to the next space station and that can then, launch a little pod that's going to get them back to Earth. I was really thinking about this because obviously the night before I'd watched Captain Phillips, which stars Tom Hanks, again in a slightly analogous situation, ordinary, lovable, everyday guy, stuck in a situation of extreme tension and nervousness, where he has to basically will himself to survive against all the odds. And I think that the key difference between Captain Phillips and Gravity, the technical mastery of Gravity, of course, just off the charts, is that where Captain Phillips just never lets up for those 2 hours in terms of the tension, Gravity has these set-piece moments of complete angst and thrills and tension. But then it always kind of cycles back to a moment of calm and silence and introspection and profundity, where really it's all about how you dig inside yourself to find if you have the will to battle on yet again when all the odds are against you. And some of those moments are the most effective in the film. And that's what I meant by the fact that I really admire the film, because as much as I'm always going to remember those amazing, stunning visuals, one of the most memorable moments is just Sandra Bullock alone in a cockpit on an escape shuttle, just really going inside of herself and thinking, what am I doing here? Do I even need to get back to Earth? What's it all for? And that, those are the moments where I think this girl's going to be nominated for an Oscar. And it's going to be really interesting to see, because I think at the moment it looks like it's her for this, which is stunning. And then also Cate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine, which is also stunning. Anyway, what else can I say about this movie, which, as you can tell, I love. There's no fault I can possibly pick with this film. I really love the fact that Alfonso and Jonas Cuarón's screenplay just has the balls to be pure. It doesn't get sidetracked, it doesn't feel obliged to do any sort of audience pandering demographic stuff. I mean, this is basically just the story of a middle-aged woman who's been a bit beaten up by life, relying on herself to get home. And, you know, how many parts are there for middle-aged women of this time? You know, in Hollywood, women are typically adjuncts of men, or they're sort of in flappy romantic relationships, and this idea of just a woman who's relying on herself to get home, I think, is incredibly subversive in some ways. And certainly there's, in part of the costume design, a nod towards Ripley of Alien, and I think that's clever and insightful. But, you know, how right they were to cast Sandra Bullock, who's an actor who simply drips integrity and authenticity and just makes you will her to succeed. But, you know, as I said before, ultimately, the big story of this movie is the astounding technical achievement. So massive kudos to Cuarón, massive kudos to his director of cinematography, Emmanuel Lubezki, who did The Tree of Life, which was also beautifully photographed. And I would just leave you with this. I mean, you have to see this film, it's just so amazing. But I saw it on the very big, large screen in the West End of London, the Odeon Leicester Square, which is huge. And I saw it in 3D, and it was so immersive and so all-encompassing, it was stunning. I can't wait to see this movie in IMAX, and I can't imagine a movie better suited to that kind of immersive peripheral vision experience, and I bet it's absolutely stunning. And this is definitely a movie where don't wait for it to come out on DVD or watch it on TV, make that effort to go to the cinema, because just find the biggest screen you can find, sit back and enjoy, it's stunning. I'm sure lots of you have seen Gravity because it's #1 at the US box office. If you agree or disagree with my take, please leave a message on the blog at b007.com. And in the meantime, thanks for listening.